All right, you guys, welcome back to part two about finding sources and how to evaluate them to make sure they are credible, reliable sources. So, the second portion of the lecture now is about the CRAP method or CRAP. Okay, again, for my regular English class, you'll be finding only one additional source. My other two classes, you'll be finding two. Um, you're going to be able to access the slideshow I'm going to use with the link that I'm going to share you with this document. There's also a video that kind of talks about this test as well. And up here, there are notes for where you can write down the definition for each letter of the acronym. For this assignment too, you're going to have to, again, find a source, and you're going to have to be able that fits your essay and what you're trying to write about. And again, I suggest using the database that I'm going to show you here at the end of this video. And again, using one of the sources that I use. You do not need to fill out this source here, this assignment, this research or worksheet, whatever you want to call it, for the sources that the teachers have given you guys. Those are already, we know, are credible sources. You don't have to worry about that. So for the source that you do find, you will need to fill out this worksheet here. You'll have to enter the article title and the URL where we can find the source, and then just go through these questions, answering yes or no. Just you can put an X in there, put a Y or an N. It doesn't matter. Some of them might ask for a response too, so a short answer. But if you look, um, you're going to find out C stands for currency. I'll explain that here shortly in the PowerPoint. R, reliability. A for authority, and P for purpose. And then there's other points to consider when trying to find out if a source is reliable. Okay, this will be an assignment, this worksheet though, for one of the sources that you find, or for the one source that you have to find on your own. So let's talk about the PowerPoint. Okay, so again, you're going to have access within this document, and let's click on it as it's loading. Okay, so go through this. All right, currency. So questions you want to consider. When was the site last updated? With the topics that you guys are selecting from, they probably should have been updated within the last week, because there is so much new information coming out on the topics. Is it current enough for your purpose? I believe in the information that we've given you, it needs to have been created or written from this year alone. Okay, maybe a little bit in 2019 for environmentalism, or if you're talking about how Black Lives Matter movement started, it started before 2020. So I guess there is a little bit of some gray area there, but if you're unsure if a source is current enough, you can also ask me and I can help you there. Reliability. Who's sponsoring the publication? Okay. Is it some company trying to sell a product? If so, probably not a reliable source. They're not trying to inform, they're trying to sell something. Does it come from a school or government organization? Meaning at the end of the URL, do you see a .edu, a .gov, or even a .org? If so, more than likely, those are pretty reliable sources. Okay. Does it agree with other good sources you found? Is the information from the source you have found on other sources? If so, that's a good sign too, that is reliable and the information is updated. Authority. Is there a named author or organization listed on the website? Okay, for a lot of you, you'll be finding like news articles. Obviously, you're going to have an author to those. Do they have contact information for the person that created the document? What skills or expertise does the author have? You know, if it's someone, and for the New York Times, that reporter has done their research. Now, if you're using, it could be someone just in their basement writing up conspiracy theories. Okay, so yeah, you want to avoid those type of sources. You don't want to be using personal blogs and things like that, because the person writing the source should have some expertise or background in what they're talking about, or they have done the research. Have they listed citations for the information or evidence that they use in their own article? If not, that's a red flag. But at the end of the article, or if within it, the source, they're citing where their information is coming from, that person's probably done their work. Purpose is the last one. Does the website seek to inform the audience or present multiple viewpoints? Okay, what is their purpose? Are they trying to inform the audience? Are they showing both sides of the topic? If they're only focusing on one side of the argument, I would say that is not a credible source. A credible source is going to talk about both sides. Okay, that's an unbiased source. So you want to be careful of that because there's a lot of biased information out there. So that's what that stands for, the CRAP. Very short and to the point. But again, looking at this document, these are the questions you need to ask yourself under each one of those parts. So when was this site or article last updated? Respond. If it was 10 years ago, it's not going to work for this essay. Is it current enough? Written after 2015. So some of us, I think we did decide for some topics it can be within the last 5 years. Obviously for COVID, it's going to be 2019, 2020. Reliability. We'll look at who's the intended audience. Is the information unbiased? Origin information. Is the information supported by evidence? You're going to have to copy and paste an example where they should have cited some evidence. And if you can't do that, then it's not a good source. Who's the author? Do you have contact information? Is there type of bibliography or works cited page at the end that lists where their information came from? Do those links go to reliable information, to other reliable information? So you might have to click on the links they use and kind of go through this process again and see if the links they're using are credible. And then the purpose. Okay, and then other things to consider. Big red flags for me when I'm doing research, if I see grammatical errors, if I see lots of advertisements on the side for products, I know those are not good sources. Okay, so you can easily do a Google search and find credible sources using those Boolean operators. Okay, any type of news outlet, like if you use the New York Times, or the Washington Post, those are credible sources. Newspapers and like Time Magazine, government websites, okay, National Geographic maybe for the environmentalism, NASA. There's a lot of great sources, and there's so much out there, it's not even that difficult to find them. But if you are struggling, you're like, I can't find any sources, you can go to the Kansas State Library. It's kslib.info. I've attached the link on Google Classroom, so all you have to do is just click on it. From here, I'll take you to this page. Look, library resources for COVID-19. Those COVID-19 topics, those students focusing on that. Click on that, you're going to find stuff. Go to online resources. Okay. And you're going to see online databases. Databases are your best friend during a research project. Okay, you're going to scroll down and you're going to really focus probably under general research. Academic Search Premier is the most useful. If you look under these skill builders, that does not fit our purpose. History, no. Business and tech, maybe. Health, you're going to maybe use that for COVID. But I would say your best option is right here, the Academic Search Premier. You click on there. Okay, now this is where those Boolean operators come in handy. So I'm going to type in COVID-19 and education. Okay, or education impact. It even has it. Looks like people have been using it. search. And it hits 293. Okay, that's not bad. So to narrow down this search, okay, you can scroll down and you want to limit the articles to full text because you want to have access to the full source. So you hit full text, it's going to update again. It's down to 83. Wow, that cut out quite a bit. Okay, so like importance of effective or medical system, some of these you're going to have to look. You can look at just kind of the summary there, and you can kind of decide, oh yeah, that doesn't really fit my needs. Oh, classes dismissed. How about this? COVID-19 virus pandemic has shut down virtually the entire U.S. education system, excuse me, and disrupted the lives of millions of students and staff. I say, this sounds great, doesn't it? So you can click on the PDF full text, and it's going to give you the article. You can feel free to print this off, okay? You'll probably have to do it at home, and it gives you tons of information, lots of pictures. I would recommend if you print this, don't print the pictures, okay? But this looks great, right? And I'm not going to read through it. But if you go back, okay, whoops. We'll go back to the actual source. It's loading. Okay, I'm going to move it over here a little bit so you can see my screen. You're going to eventually, if you're like, this is a source I want to use, you're going to want it, the citation information, because you're going to need it on your Works Cited page. So if you look over to the right, you can say cite. I love this about this Academic Search Premier database. It is the best thing ever. Okay, so citation format. If you look, there's a ton of information, or just a plethora of ways to cite. We only use MLA. So scroll down to MLA. It's right here. And you would just copy this citation and paste it in a Word doc, or it's not, excuse me, Word doc, a Google Doc, and this will eventually be used for your Works Cited page. You don't even have to use Citation Machine or BibMe. It does all the work for you. It is awesome. I would recommend using this database before you go on to Google and just start searching, because it will cite your information. You get all your sources from this database, you guys, okay? And then later on, I will show you how to take the information you found, the citation, and create a Works Cited page. All right. Okay, so I feel like I've talked long enough. Time's about up on my timer. So hopefully now you know where to find sources, how to make sure they are credible, okay? And please, again, use this database before going online. If you have any questions about finding sources, or you're having difficulty finding a source, just to begin with, please come and talk to me or send me an email. All right, good luck researching.